Yo, YouTube! Welcome back. This is my video for Tuesday the 9th of July. And this will be about what I did on that day, which was yesterday. And I might as well spend, because that's quite short, a bit of time telling you about my health stage. Next point. So, first of all, stats. My average fuel price for this week, having filled up twice now, is 14.64 pence per mile. That went up because I did a 70 mile an hour journey up to Scotland, so I used up the fuel quicker than usual. Went up by half a pence per mile. This is on Tuesday. I drove 459 miles, 459, and I worked for 12 and a half hours, although the idea of working that amount of work was not really the case when it comes down to it. I earned £125, 125, from one CX job. I spent £67.20 on fuel, and so after fuel costs were taken into account, on Tuesday I earned a grand total of £58. Now that isn't good, and it'll be obvious why I didn't earn very much money. The only thing I would say is take the 2 days together, because they're all kind of part of the same trip, and my average per day over the 2 days was £170, which isn't too bad. It's certainly not a disaster. So I was tramping out in Glenrothes on the night of Monday the 8th, and we had a really nice day. It was a really pleasant day that day, and I woke up at around about 7ish, maybe 7:15, and had a quick look at jobs, and in my mind I was expecting there's been not very much coming up early on, because I have been to Scotland before and it sometimes doesn't start until 9 o'clock. But on this occasion there was a job going from Glasgow to Newton Stewart. And I had a quick look on the map, and that was Newton Stewart, which I'd never heard of before, was in the direction of Dumfries. So I sort of knew vaguely where it was going. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. It saves me basically dead mining it down to England. That pays for me effectively to get down to England, because if I go west from there, it's basically Gretna and then Carlisle. East from there, back from there, dead mine against the M6, well, M74 and M6. It's basically dead mine it and get me to England. So I put a bid on the job. I was an hour away from Glasgow, 62 dead miles, and the job itself was 95 miles for a long wheelbase van. And I bid what I thought was a pretty fair price, £125. And I got that job about 7:30, and the pickup time was between 9 and 9:30. So I had about half an hour spare before I had to leave. So I got myself ready, made myself some porridge. Well, at least heated the water for the porridge, which I had when I got to Newton Stewart. And then I made my way towards Glasgow initially, and that's where I did my video in the morning for the Monday. And then I arrived at 9:15 at the pickup point, and I was taking a load of solar panel stuff. It was quite full in my van. the time we got loaded and strapped down, it was 9:40, and the journey was around about just over 2 hours. About 2.25 hours according to the sat nav. And so I made my way using my sat nav out Glasgow towards Newton Stewart, and I just focused really on. I didn't look at the map at all. I didn't really know what was going on. I just followed the sat nav and I focused on the countryside. And quite quickly, I was off the motorway. I don't know at what point I got off. And then I was basically cross country for a lot of it. And the only thing that I would want to say, if you know the area well, I ended up driving on a single carriageway road through the mountains. My Google Maps was calling it National Cycle Route 7, so I'm assuming that is correct. And it was just an amazing road surface to drive on, such good condition. The odd passing place, not very much traffic. One cyclist in the end, going up a hill. And it's just a really nice country drive down through forests and over mountains. And I remember that journey as being really pleasant. And I arrived at the drop-off location at 12:10. The guy, there's obviously some building work going on, so I went to the building work bit. That was the correct place. There's one guy there, quite young, who asked me about the load, and I said we need to forklift it off. And I wasn't sure if he had a forklift, but he did. So we manoeuvred my van around. It was a bit difficult because the site was quite tight, but we managed to get everything off, and with the forklift. And by the time we'd done all that, and I was offside, it was 12:35. And at this point, I just made my way directly. I put my sat nav Dumfries, and I just made my way directly from where I was eastwards along an estuary towards Dumfries. Getting really nice. Oh yeah, it was raining. It got quite cold at this point, and it was raining a bit. It was lovely to see the water, lovely to see the roads, but I was just basically getting myself to Dumfries as soon as I could, because I thought, and I had to look around. There was no drivers anywhere near me where I was, and also there's no work at all. So I got myself to Dumfries after about 45 minutes or so. Stopped up at a lay-by, and I was looking for jobs all this time. There's a job that came up about 45 minutes north east from Dumfries, and I put what I thought was a fair bid on it. Probably like £1 a mile plus a tenner, something like that. I thought I'm the only person here. I didn't get the job, so that took that as a sign that there's no point waiting around anymore. I'm not gonna. If a job comes up at all, it's lucky. But I don't want to waste time there, so I decided to make my way towards Carlisle, and was looking for jobs. And I got to Carlisle, nothing came up, so I carried on towards Preston. I was still a long way away. I was trying. My aim at this point was to get to the northwest before the close of play, but there was no way I was going to make it there in time for 5 o'clock. It was like 3.5 hours from Dumfries, and I left Dumfries about 2 o'clock. So it was really a tough thing to do. So I ended up going to Penrith, fill it with fuel, get a bit of food, stay there for a few minutes, and then I made a decision to go across the A66 back towards Darlington, rather than go to the northwest, because I felt that the northeast I'll get there quicker, and I might have a chance of a job better than trying to wait to get to Preston, which is still a long way away. I got almost all the way to Darlington. There was a job that came up near there. I bid on and didn't get it. And then a job from Carlisle came up, and it was just like an hour and a quarter away back in the wrong direction. So there's no way I could have done that. And it seemed to be that every time I got somewhere, there was a job like 2 stops back. So I got to Darlington and just carried on to the A1M, and then went down south towards Leeds, again looking for jobs, but sort of not really expecting to get anything. And by the time I got sort of Leeds area, it was basically about 5 o'clock-ish, and I was too far away from any work, so I carried on going down. There was a job going from Doncaster to Lincoln, which I didn't get. It would have been great. So I was bidding on the odd job. I probably bid on total about 5 jobs that day, and in the end, by the time I got sort of to Doncaster, I thought it's not going to happen now. I'll just drive home. So I did a lot of dead miles that day. But about it must have been about Leeds way, I got a job booked in for the following day, which was picking up in Peterborough, going to Bolton. And it was a late start, it was like an 11 o'clock pickup. So I had that in the bag, and I thought what I could do, I could stay at Leeds, tramp out at Leeds, and look for a job going towards Peterborough in the morning, and that would then save me some dead miles and give me some extra money. But I definitely thought, actually I'd rather just get home to my lovely partner and have a cuddle with her. And so I definitely did on this occasion decide just to swallow the dead miles and get myself home as soon as I could. And I aimed to get home between 8 and 8:30, which is what I did. And it was, I think, the right decision in the end, because I got to sit in my own bed, I got to spend some time with a partner, and it was sort of, I made an active decision not to focus on work and focus a bit more on what was right for the people around me, which it might sound like a small thing for everyone else, but for me it was quite a bit, I felt it was quite a big decision to do that. And so yeah, I got home about 8:30ish, and so I had an evening at home, quite tired, got a good sleep last night, but I had this job in the bag for today, and I'll tell you about that in my next video. So that's the end of that video. So let me tell you now a bit more about what I'm doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, because now I'm recording this the following morning. And on Thursday I am going to be going in to have my first session of hemodialysis. So I'm sure you know what it is, but basically I lie down. I might be semi-recumbent or I might be fully recumbent. But I lie down and get a needle into the fistula that was put into created in my arm 2 months ago. The fistula just being an expanded vein full of high pressure blood. So a needle goes in one side of the vein, a needle in another part, and at one point the blood comes out of the body, goes to the machine, and goes back into our body, and then it's cleaned by the machine. And the first time I go in, I've been told it's going to be about an hour and a half. I did pop in, so I was told about this on Monday, and unfortunately, let me get back. On Monday, I received a phone call about doing this, and I was asked to go in the following day on Tuesday, but Monday was the day where I was already on my way to Scotland. There was no way I would have got back in time to do Tuesday, so we made it Thursday instead. And during that, they told me some information about what to do, what to expect, but also prior to that, at the weekend, I had a phone call about being given a slot, and the slot was at Boston. So Boston isn't that far from where I live. I'm pleased about that. I'm about 35 minutes, 40 minutes from the dialysis unit. It's the wrong side of Boston for me, but it's across the river. But it's not that far for me to go. And basically on the weekend we went and had a quick look, and I had a look around it, sort of introduced myself. It's not something people usually do, to be honest. They were quite surprised I was there. But I sort of showed my face, saw their faces, found out where to go, where to park. So I know what I'm doing as of that on Thursday. And yeah, so it's all sort of starts on Thursday. The kind of that part of my health recovery. I don't know how I'm going to feel afterwards. I don't want to expect too much in case I get disappointed. I have explained in the past my current symptoms, but I'm hoping that this will have some positive effect. So, as far as I understand it, every time I go in future, beyond the first time, it'll be a 4-hour session. The first one's like a mini version, and then I will be doing, as I understand it, Thursdays, Saturdays and Tuesdays. So I do not know yet how I'm going to balance being a self-employed courier with kidney dialysis and supporting the people around me, being the right sort of person to be around people who are with me, family and stuff. So we'll see how that goes, and I will let you know a bit more as and when I know. So, thank you very much for listening to my video. I hope that you are going to be successful, however you choose to define that word for yourself. I shall let you know about today's work on my way home tonight. Farewell, friends.